He knows everything about commercial property loan origination, right, Brock?
That's true. I do have a lot of experience in the field.
Well, you told me you know everything. You told me you're like the guru. You told me there's no one who knows more than you.
I don't know about that, but I do know enough.
All right, yeah. My name's Kenner French with vastsolutionsgroup.com. Brock also is with vastsolutionsgroup.com. He's got an interesting story. I'm really excited to shed some light on it. We have about 30 minutes. Does that sound about right, Brock?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So Brock, first tell us about Brock. How are you here? Why are you here? Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I'm a seasoned banker with over 25 years of experience. I've been doing it all from oil and gas and investment grade to commercial real estate, which is my focus now on the smaller side of things, where average deal size is anywhere from 5 million to 40 million. So that gives me a wide enough net that I've been able to look at a variety of different projects and to structure them in a way that is both beneficial to the customer and to the banks. And that also guarantees the greatest success to get a deal done.
Yeah, obviously you're a player. You get deals done. So most of the people listening and watching this will be entrepreneurs. Most of them will be, all of them will be real estate investors, generally speaking. Most of them will be, some of them need money to invest in real estate. So tell us a little bit about commercial real estate. Define commercial real estate first of all.
So, in defining it, it's any kind of project that has a real estate collateral attachment to it. It could range from like any kind of commercial business, like a convenience store, for example, a hotel, office building, multifamily, student housing. These are some of the highest demand projects right now. Retail centers, let's see, owner occupied businesses where you've got your business. Let's say it's a car shop, you have a garage and everything like that. These are the things that are really attractive to banks right now.
I understand. And when we're talking about commercial real estate, obviously what you do is financing. How is commercial property loan origination or financing different in the commercial world than it is in the residential world?
So it's a great question. Whenever we think of residential lending, you think of, hey, I'm going to buy my house and, I go through a mortgage broker. Those are a different type of asset where, hey, we look, the banks will just look at your credit score, look at your health professionally, what your financial picture looks like. However, investment real estate goes into a deeper dive. It looks into the mechanics of the deal, the cost of the deal, the cash flow when let's say it's a construction project, the cash flow, what it's going to look like when you come out of it. So there's a lot of intertwined pieces to putting all that together. Also, with commercial real estate, there's a lot of regulatory hurdles you need to go through, especially in dealing with a bank. And so that's why structuring is very important and highly advised that you seek a seasoned loan officer to go through those because, in a mortgage, residential mortgage example, they're just looking at, hey, do you have a job? What's your credit score look like versus all these other things that you need to look to when it's an investment property.
Yeah, and it seems like to me you can mess up a commercial loan. Let's just say someone wants a $20 million building. It seems like there's a lot of barriers to success in getting a loan and buying that building versus a home. It's not quite as many moving parts, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think like an example would be when you're doing a construction. Before you do anything to the property, you must get your loan first. Let's say you decide, I have enough equity. I just want to go ahead and do the concrete, for example. Well, you won't be able to get a bank loan if you've improved the property that much because it becomes a title issue, for example. And, there are certain multiple nuances that you need to know before, starting your project. and trying to get a bank to get your loan.
So, like your experience. So I gotta assume it's better to go with someone who's got some experience, who boots on the ground, who knows how to get loans versus whatever someone who's just brand new, basically, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of seasonality with real estate projects. Let's say you're building a townhome project. Well, you want to get that construction done before the spring because that's the best time for the selling season.
Hmm.
Now, if you go with an inexperienced loan advisor, they don't know how to structure the deal. They don't know that, hey, we need to track all the ownership challenges, make sure that it's a single asset entity, for example. And if you go through with someone with inexperience, these will extend the process in getting a loan in place. And time is money with a lot of these projects, so it's important to get somebody that can be efficient and move along your deal the fastest way possible.
Yeah, I'm tuning our own horn, but what I would say is, I mean, generally speaking, we have seasoned people. Actually, we do have seasoned people here at vastsolutionsgroup.com who know how to get loans. And I think that means it cuts down the chance of not succeeding. Number one, number two, hopefully you can get a better rate because we know what's going on. There's a lot of positive elements. Again, tuning our own horn, preaching the choir, but
Well, absolutely.
I mean, I'm so excited we decided. It's funny because Brock, for years, our company's been around since '69, and and there's been so many times people have asked us for loans because they're all real estate investors generally.
Mhm.
So, and I would always say no, go here, go there, whatever. We wouldn't help in any regard, and that was stupid. That was ridiculous. Now that we're actually helping, we've got a brokerage up and running. Now we can help these investors who are saying, "Hey, I want to get a $20 million loan," instead of them going to ABC Bank. Now they come here. We have access to a whole bunch of different lenders, and it's opened my eyes as an entrepreneur because now I can help more people than we ordinarily would have helped back in the day.
Absolutely. The environment is completely changing, and as opposed to trying to yourself go to one lender, this other lender and lender, you can come to us, one stop shop, and we do all that for you. And with access to over 700 lenders, you know that you're going to get some really flexible terms. And so I encourage anybody that's listening or even curious, give us a try, because once we put in a loan, you'll have access to, with more competition, it can only benefit you to get
Mm.
flexible terms, cheaper pricing, and quicker response time. So it really is a win-win. And I think ultimately what made me decide to join the team is because of that access and
Mm.
flexibility.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on because you are a total stud. I'm not just saying that; you really are.
Appreciate it.
So, just like you were saying, I mean, now you have access to 750 lenders, actually more, by the way. And at the same time, where you used to be, not to put you down, you used to have whatever, I think one bank, right? So now
Yeah,
you have,
yeah. I used to be
yeah,
a single bank representative. Absolutely.
yeah. And I think now I hate to rip on the industry, but I'm going to. Back in the old days, actually, no, even now, people still take paper applications for commercial property loans, to a bank. And then that one will say no, or the rate will be bad, or the term will be bad. And then they'll go to another one and that'll be bad or whatever. Versus, well, wait a minute, would you rather talk to one bank, two banks, or 750 banks? It's so much quicker, helps you in the marketplace, et cetera. As not only as a borrower, but also if you're in the industry and you want to be a commercial property loan originator. It's a game changer.
Absolutely. And this is, ultimately because of the challenges of, doing everything manual. Using our platform gives us such a wide breadth of opportunity. So even if you're an investor looking to get funding for your project, or if you're a loan officer or broker that wants to have more access to lenders, well, this is the way to go. It's going to change the industry forever.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. So, by the way, why is that? This is a naive question. Why is commercial property loan origination so backwards, so slow to adopt technology and change? Do you have any guesses as to why?
I really don't, other than, the technology hasn't been there. Now that we're able to, uh, better congregate information, better communication, there's a lot of legal and regulatory things that goes into banking a commercial real estate loan. So a lot of it had to be using paper. Well, now that we can incorporate all these new technologies and DocuSign this and things of that nature, it's been able to speed up that process and do a lot of things digitally that we couldn't have done before.
Hmm. Speaking of digitally, what's your email? Was it Burak at vastsolutionsgroup.com? Does that sound right?
That is correct. Yeah, Burak at vastsolutions.com.
Again, Burak at vastsolutionsgroup.com. And our website, by the way, for everyone is vastsolutionsgroup.com. And if you go to our team, you'll see Burak. Click on his little bio, and then you'll learn even more about him. Um, Actually, I want to ask a couple more things about you personally. Tell me a little bit more about you personally. You live in Houston, Texas. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I lived in Houston, Texas most of my life. Graduated from Texas A&M University, which is very close to here. And Houston and actually Grander, Texas in general has really been exploding of late because of all the population that is beginning to move over here and all these new businesses that become to move over here. Like the Oracles of the world, or Elon Musk and Tesla, and so they see the tax advantages. We also benefit from the second Panama Canal opening that has made the arbitrage between shipping to California versus shipping to Houston. This expense and cost has compressed. The spread has compressed, so it's making more sense for more business and more industry and goods to be coming over here, and that's created this huge demand for real estate and real estate needs. Um, and that, as a longtime Houstonian, I couldn't think of a better place. From cuisine, the diversity of the people here, because it is a port city. So we I think our food, for example, is some of the best in the world. It's unparalleled because you get the uniqueness of the Louisiana Cajun area. You
Mm.
got the just the south of us, the Mexican influence, and then whenever you couple all of these things together with the port and diversity of the port, we've got some of the best food in the world. Probably not best for your stomach or health, but man, does it taste good! I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
I love it down there. Especially me, because from Seattle where it's rainy, I love going down there, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's great. A lot of things to do. It's a large metropolis type of city. I'm not sure yet, but I think we even eclipsed Chicago as the number 3 or 4 city, largest city in the states now. So,
I didn't know that. I knew you guys were growing left and right. I didn't
oh
know
yeah,
that. That's
it's
cool.
huge.
That's saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, they could take you at least 1 hour to drive from one side of it to the other side. So
Yeah.
it's quite the footprint.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. So, all right. So, let's go to commercial property loan origination again. So, what's a horror story that you've seen? Maybe another professional try to get someone a loan, and you've somehow turned it around and got financing when it didn't look like that company, that LLC, or what have you, was ever going to get that loan. So, I need a case study that we can use. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's many.
So there really are, there's two really trip things that can really trip up a deal. One I alluded to earlier, in that if you break ground and do improvements, you know, before you get your bank loan, the banks are, by regulation, it becomes a huge title issue. And the reason being is, anybody that does any improvements to the land, they could put a lien on that land that could prime the bank loan. And that's what becomes the big issue. So in order to correct something like that, we would have to, and I was able to uh, get certain waivers drafted where the you get the general contractor to waive, hey, this is work has been done, it has been completed, and that way you get that waiver, and then that can get the bank comfortable. Um, let's see, another thing that usually hangs up a deal is the way you structure it organizationally. Your org chart is very important, making sure that your entity docs match what
Mm.
they say they do. um, and that whenever you're trying to finance a particular project, make sure you have put it under an entity that is a single asset entity. When it's a single asset entity and holds that one just relationship, it really makes everything smooth and faster. Otherwise, you might have, banks have to contemplate the commingle of assets and commingling of loans. So if we get that siloed into a single asset entity, it cleans everything up and makes the process a lot smoother.
Look at you. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, we do that. Obviously, not only in house, we have a couple of attorneys in house, but we also have some external attorneys who help in that regard. I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people forget how important kind of the structuring of deals is, and it's very, very, very important.
Absolutely.
All right, so that was really helpful. So then well, why should someone, I know you're going to say experience and really your creativity, but why really should someone go to Burak for a loan versus whatever, to Tom Jones, by the way, great singer, but to some other random person?
Obviously, I have a bias, toward myself, but you have it depends a lot on the experience of the loan officer and the range of projects that they have done. Because if they've seen it and done it, they can help you navigate, certain difficulties. And right now the market is kind of in this ambiguity stage, and you need someone that is experienced enough to help you navigate that because oftentimes, banks might not feel comfortable, so they may just try to overcharge you, for example, just
Mhm.
because they feel like they can, or just don't feel secure. And if you have a loan officer and he gives a product package to a bank and it's not really that complete, that really causes a lot of anxiety with the particular lender. And so you need to get someone that is experienced enough to know that, hey, we need to gather everything, make sure it's in order so that there isn't any ambiguity, and that the bank has everything it needs up front, because once they have it up front, they can make better decisions and make more comfortable decisions.
Mhm. So speaking of decisions, what are your thoughts on growing a investment portfolio based on real estate, meaning commercial real estate? What are some strategies? This is a tough question. What are some strategies you think it makes sense to put together a commercial property loan origination portfolio and get it that much bigger? What are some strategies that you think make sense in that regard?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the best strategy, if you can, is to get into a deal. Make sure you put a lot of equity in it. That way, you get some really favorable terms. Once you complete that deal, you can use 1031 like kind exchanges, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and use the
Mm-hmm.
tax advantages. So you navigate the capital gains on that
Mm-hmm.
whenever you want to sell that project and move to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But over the course, over time, real estate continually, the values are presumed to go up over time. So
Mm-hmm.
you use that equity in later, if you have let's say a larger project that you want, you can draw on the equity from your other projects, increase your lines and help, put those funds towards the new project, for
Mm-hmm.
example. But the idea is to build the base, build the cash flow so that you have that passive income.
Yep, passive income is the key. You want to be whatever 50 years old, go out to your mailbox, open it. There's an envelope, rip it open. There's a check. That is
Absolutely.
nice passive income, right? Mailbox money.
Right, right.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of mailbox money, what are your thoughts on people in the industry? Meaning, let's say we're now talking to commercial property loan originators, and they want to get passive income. What are some of your thoughts about getting passive income? I know to this point it's been hard to get passive income as a CRE loan originator, but now there's that possibility. What are some thoughts there?
Yeah. So you normally, as a loan originator at one bank, you get maybe commissions on the fees that you generate from
Mm-hmm.
the loan. But if you decide that, hey, I want to be a broker, then you get fees charged on the amount financed, which is very palatable. But not only that, whenever you bring other, loan brokers under you, they'll whatever fees they generate, they can help build your own passive income portfolio as
Hmm.
well because you've recommended them. And that
Hmm.
is why, this opportunity here at Vast Solutions is so great and highly recommended.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's because I believe in passive income for all my employees, for all my
Yeah,
contractors,
I know. I
for my vendors,
appreciated
man.
that.
That's huge. That's huge. So, even exclusive of that, what are your thoughts about the future of commercial real estate or commercial, real estate loans? What do you think? What do you see in the future?
Well, in the future, the way that we have this potential of a debt wall where interest rates have risen, and a lot of these projects that have been financed about 4 years ago or so, they're coming up for renewal.
Mm,
And so, right now is a really good time to get in front of it, make sure you get your refinancing in place. And because, rates aren't going to stay high forever. We've listened to Fed Chair Powell say, "Hey, it's going to be higher for longer," but the intent is that, hey, within the end of this year, they're going to start cutting rates.
mm.
And so now is a good time. You get in now, get all your debt refinancings done, so you don't have to worry about, hey, what happens in the future, and have certain refinancing risks. For example, you're able to get it in front of it, and in terms that you like, knowing that, hey, in the future, they'll come down with a variable rate, for example.
Do you do that? Do you do restructuring? I don't even know. Do you do
Yeah,
restructuring?
yeah. Repositionings are really common.
Hmm.
uh, a lot of clients, they have equity in their projects, so they, as interest rates have risen across the portfolio of assets, maybe their debt service has increased a lot. Well, if you want some additional liquidity, in order to make sure you're healthy and can cover those debt payments, it's really good to reposition some of your loans where, hey, you do some sort of cash out and you're able to get that refinancing and help, pay for other, future projects, or just give you that added liquidity.
Yeah. So yeah, that brings up a very legit question. So let's just say I bought a building for $10 million back in whatever 5 years ago, and now because of whatever reason, property value is worth $5 million, and that's my only asset. Let's say I'm an investor, and for whatever reason, I'm not very lucky, at least in this building. What then?
Well, that would be a tough scenario because right now lending is it is become challenged. So you need to have a breadth of lenders that you can call upon, and they each have their own loan to value limits. So um, in your case, you've taken out 50% of the value in this case. So maybe it would require another, the investor to probably put a little more equity in,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to be at least at a minimum 75% loan to value. So
Mm-hmm.
in your instance, the 10 million property is now worth 5 million. Let's say at 10 million there was 7.5 million of debt financings on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we need to do, what's 75% of 5 million? You would need to put in the equity. And, banks are actually open to, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
if we know what's happened, they don't want to foreclose. They're not in the business of foreclosing. They only do it if they have to. So you can also ask a bank to maybe discount the loan. So that there is a negotiation there as well. But it is, those type of scenarios are tough whenever
I
you're
know. I'm not
dealing
saying,
with
yeah.
that.
Very. Hopefully, there's very few of those people or scenarios we have in our cadre of investors. And what I would say also, by the way, because we have access to so many lenders, not only on one platform, we have access to other money, other investors. That we might be able to find a solution when some other group might not be able to find a solution because we have access to so much more money, generally speaking, than most. You know what I mean?
That's
I think
true.
that's huge, huge. But hopefully, if by the way, if anyone is out in that situation, they're out there, please give us a call. I mean, I mean, it sounds like you do
Doesn't
some
hurt to
restructuring. We have
try.
other
Yeah,
people
let
who can
us see
help.
what we can do. For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
We don't want to see clients who are hurting. And again, we have access to a lot more lenders than would be normal. So hopefully we can help in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So how about this? What's a takeaway that you think someone listening or watching really, really needs to know as a walkway from this episode? How can you add value to a real estate investor as an example?
Well, the value add is the expertise that goes into gathering everything, so that as a investor, you will be able to get the most flexible terms and the cheapest price, and with the greatest chance of success.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, you're depending on one lender, and it's a crapshoot. Maybe it's just a committee or something like that, and not a lot of options available to you. Plus the time it takes to find one lender or another lender, and the if you go to the bigger banks just right off the bat, you know you're not going to. They look for big, large institutional funds. So usually, when you talk to a banker, it's going to be, maybe a junior officer or someone with less experience, because, the deal size just doesn't match their footprint because they have a larger focus. But you come to us, we get you in touch with all the banks that are within that footprint and are hungry for the assets. So it's a great matching process, and saves you time and money in the long run for sure.
Yeah, I think it's huge. We have access to big banks. We have access to small banks. We have access to some private money, a couple different groups, family investors or family offices in New York that can come to some aid, do some hard money. We have access where, I mean, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. I mean, it's kind of funny. I never thought when I was, basically I came onto the company in 2006. This was started by a guy named Gary Coons back in '69. All this time, I never realized how many of our clients really needed money for financing, and that's important to be able to move money. So let's say someone has whatever $2 million and they want to leverage it. Well, I would say no, go to another bank or go to someone else. I mean, it's how dumb was that? And
Sure.
now we can help so many more people in our own grouping, plus other people who are being attracted to us. I mean, I'm pumped that we found this world of you know, financing of commercial properties. It's been a huge deal, and I'm so excited you're on board because you're obviously one of the more senior. I mean, you're a senior guy. You know exactly what's going on. It's going to make a huge difference to some of our investors, not only that we have in house that are also coming to us now.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
So, in closing, once again, how did someone email you?
So that's Burak, Burak, at bestsolutionsgroup.com. Looking
And
forward to
just
talking with you.
for the heck of it, how do you say your last name?
Berilgen, like a barrel of oil and again. So Berilgen.
I love that. I'll never get it. I've known you for a while, and I'll never get it.
I know. So,
Once again, my name is Kenner French with vastsolutionsgroup.com. Hopefully this has been helpful in some way. If you need any help, obviously we not only do tax, we not only do finance, specifically commercial property loan origination. We also do registered agent. There's a number of things we do as a small business owner consultant to help you, the entrepreneur. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
all right. Bye.
Dude, thank you very much, man.